Before there were names, before there were empires, codes, or fate itself, there were stories. Stories of gods and rebels, of lovers and light bringers, of those who dared to defy destiny and pay the price. One of them is Xavier. Hi, I'm Princess Farron, and we're diving through the deep space tunnel of love and deep space to unravel the hidden myth behind our sleepy bunny, Xavier. Yes, the one who broods and blushes like a celestial cinnamon roll. Xavier isn't just inspired by mythology, he is mythology reborn, a living fusion of five timeless souls: Prometheus, Apollo, Icarus, Orpheus, and Hyperion. And when we put them all together, we understand him not just as a protector, but as a cosmic, tragic force of nature. So let's begin. Prometheus stands for rebellion, foresight and sacrifice, for humanity and for hope, and above all, for being chained by fate. And if we think for a bit, we can see how Xavier experienced all of those through his main timeline and myth. But before we see how this myth shapes Xavier, let's meet Prometheus. He was a titan known for his intelligence, who stole fire from the gods for humanity, enabling civilization. His defiance led Zeus to punish him severely. Prometheus was chained to a rock where an eagle devoured his immortal liver each day, a torment that lasted for generations until Heracles, a mortal son of Zeus, eventually freed him. Prometheus, the titan who brought fire to mankind, a symbol of rebellion and of punishment. He didn't just defy Zeus, as we've seen, he sacrificed himself for humanity's future. And that is where Xavier's story begins. Xavier, born a prince of Philos, was never meant to rebel, but he saw what others wouldn't. He saw her, the MC, and he saw a path to evolution the world feared. In Prometheus' myth, fire is enlightenment. In Xavier's world, it's her, the queen, a woman who carries the tree of life in her very soul. And Xavier, he tries to stop her, to save her from feeding a world that was already too far gone. He creates a divergence in time, a spark torn from the fabric of reality itself, a moment stolen from destiny. But for that defiance, he pays a price. The red collar around his neck is more than just about control. It's guilt, grief, and burden. It's symbolic of the weight of failing the one person he loved the most. Centuries pass, the world forgets the queen, but Xavier doesn't. Let that sink in. What kind of love survives centuries of silence? Prometheus endures. Prometheus gave fire to mankind, light, knowledge, hope. Xavier? He fights the very machine of survival, a regime that fuels itself on human sacrifice. And remember Xavier's great sword in Where Stars Scatter? He devours light. That's the paradox. He brings light, but is consumed by darkness. A cost etched in blood. Centuries in Cindersfell, fighting revenants in endless echoes of death. That pain creates distance. Even when the MC returns, he holds back, because love means risking that pain all over again. His heart longs for her, but he protects her in silence. Like Prometheus, Xavier suffers in silence, half awake, burned by knowledge and guilt. And there's that red color created by Ever. It's his chain, a physical mark of rebellion punished. And just like fire represented in human potential in Prometheus' story, the MC's ether core represents humanity's next evolution, the one thing Xavier protects, no matter the cost. We all know what he gave up. His home, his planet, his future, even his timeline. Prometheus gave fire to humanity and suffered eternally for it. Xavier offered light, and now he's trapped in a cycle of death, rebirth, and grief. His eternal struggle in Cindersfell, fighting revenants in endless repetition, is his Promethean punishment. And let's not forget his Miss Twilight's dawn. As Lumiere, he brings light, beauty, and illusion to a broken world. But behind that brilliance is pain, burden, a soul trying to carry the last flicker of hope before it fades. Xavier, like Prometheus, defies the divine and the systematic, for the sake of something greater. A protector, a rebel, a tragic light bearer, he suffers in silence, waiting for the one he couldn't save. Xavier's fear, loneliness, and guarded nature are the emotional core of his myth, a reminder of sacrifice, eternal struggle, and the cost of love. And while Prometheus shows us Xavier's defiance, the myth of Orpheus brings us into his heart. If you watched the Unveiled video, you'll remember Orpheus. But just so that we are all aligned, Orpheus was a gifted musician who fell in love with Eurydice. They loved each other deeply, but tragedy struck when Eurydice was bitten by a venomous snake and died. Heartbroken, Orpheus descended into the underworld and begged Hades for her return. The gods agreed, on one cruel condition: he must never look back. But Orpheus did, and with one glance, he lost her forever. In the end, Orpheus was torn apart by Dionysus' followers, but even in death, his voice sang on. Orpheus, the musician who descended into the underworld to save the one he loved, and never forgot the loss. In Xavier's third myth, Where Stars Scatter, also known as Fallen Crown, it is the MC who forgets. She wakes in darkness, her memories shattered. She doesn't know herself or him. And Xavier? He waits. He doesn't beg, he simply protects, and waits for her to remember on her own. Orpheus used music to stir the souls of the dead. Xavier uses resonance, emotional, energetic, musical, to bring her back. And when she remembers, it is not just love that returns, it is the truth that she is the tree of life, the source of all renewal, and the only one who can end the cycle of doom. But Orphic love always comes at a price. She returns to the divergence point that Xavier tried to rewrite. She chooses him, and in his arms, she dies again, as the world crumbles around them. If you could change time for love, would you? Orpheus failed because of doubt. He looked back. Xavier fails because fate was never fair to begin with. Xavier's third myth mirrors this descent into shadow realms. Cindersfell, the Revenant's domain, where he confronts death, ghosts of the past, and even himself as the Mad King. Their love is a fragile thread, woven between life and death, memory and forgetting, hope and heartbreak. Like Orpheus, Xavier is haunted by loss and by the impossible choice between saving a world or saving the one he loves. But despite all the pain, he makes the decision without looking back. Some people say Xavier is too soft, but tell me, how can a love like that ever be boring? Anyway, another interesting detail that connects our Star Bunny story to Orpheus is present in the Voyage of the Outcast and in the Feverish Attempts card. Here I'm referring to MC awakening Xavier through resonance, which is pretty much an equivalent to the Orphic catabasis. Catabasis is a soul descent, a journey to the underworld to reclaim something lost, or to gain knowledge and power. Isn't that exactly what Where Stars Scatter is about? Besides that, Xavier's backtracking and the MC resurrection cycles are also akin to the Orphic soul awakening. Orpheus crossed into the underworld for Eurydice. Xavier crosses timelines, memories, realities for the MC. Where Orpheus sang to stir the gods, Xavier plays piano to stir her heart. Every note, a memory. Every song, a callback to love, just like in the Silvery Polyphony Memorial. Orpheus' tragic longing and hope add depth to Xavier's emotional struggles and his determination against seemingly impossible odds. Like Raphael, Xavier is part of something deeper, an Orphic undercurrent. Cycles of death and rebirth, of forgetting and remembering. His mission? Not just to save her, but to awaken the truth hidden in her soul. This ties in with Xavier's protection of the MC's ether core, which is practically a cosmic Orphic metaphor for divine essence and soul memory. By the way, do you see Xavier more as a rebel or a romantic? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious who else picked up on the Orphic vibes. I already know some of you have. From the underworld's shadows, Xavier and we emerge once again into the realm of light, into the domain of Hyperion. Hyperion, he who goes above, he who watches from above. A titan born of Uranus and Gaia, husband to Theia, father of dawn, sun, and moon. In Greek mythology, Hyperion was a titan of heavenly light. He joined the other titans to assist Kronos in defeating their father Uranus, making him one of the pillars holding sky and light aloft. As we can see, Hyperion was the one who watched it, the titan of light, of vigilance, of cosmic order. Xavier, he is more than a man. He is a sentinel between timelines, a guardian between the MC's rebirth. His sword purges the undead. His crown carries centuries of sorrow. His love defies galaxies. Like Hyperion, he watches from the dark as time twists and worlds decay. Yet, he still believes in dawn. When his queen returns, even with the world collapsing, he fights at her side. And when dawn finally breaks, they share one last vision. A sunlit field, yellow blossoms, hope reborn in a whisper of light. Maybe that's why so many of us can't let go of Xavier. Because we see in him what it means to love through silence. To protect someone, even when they don't remember who you are. Not just because he protects the light, but because in some way, we are all just trying to remember who we used to be and hoping someone out there sees our true self, even across timelines. Hyperion's myth carries the idea of ancient, eternal light watching over the world, which aligns with Xavier's burden of eternal vigilance against the revenants and the creeping darkness. In fact, Xavier as Lumiere, a star and light bearer, can tap into that titanic essence of raw ancient light that's more elemental and primal than the Olympian gods. The Titans' association with celestial bodies, sun, moon, dawn, reflects Xavier's connection to cosmic forces and cycles of rebirth and illumination. So Xavier's role isn't just as a rebel, but as the guardian of light itself, caught between ancient cosmic forces and human tragedy. As for his original name, Shen Qinghui, meaning star brilliance in Chinese, it's not a coincidence. It's in his blood. It's in his light. As the original Titan of Light in observation, Hyperion is embodied by Xavier's role as a vigilant guardian. His mission to watch over and protect the MC echoes Hyperion's eternal gaze from the heavens, no matter what the cost may be. However, there's another Greek myth that alludes to light and that can be closely associated with Xavier. Apollo was an Olympian god, son of Zeus and Leto, and the twin brother of Artemis. Famous for his oracle at Delphi and his role in leading the Muses, Apollo was a complex, widely loved deity. Curiously, he is one of the few major divinities to be known by the same name in both the Greek and Roman mythology. Apollo is a god of light, music, poetry, healing, archery, and prophecy, and he also embodied the ideal of Kalukakatya, a combination of physical beauty and moral virtue. Apollo is both distant and intimate, majestic in sunlight, untouchable in the glare. Xavier, aloof in his beauty, yet longing in his silence. If Prometheus gave the fire, Apollo is the fire itself, god of light, of healing, of prophecy, and of music. Xavier's alias, Lumiere, isn't just poetic, it's literal. He carries light, even in a world drowned in darkness. After the queen's death, Philos falls into decay, sustained by sacrifice, ruled by fear, but Xavier holds on to her memory like the sun behind clouds. He becomes a guardian in the shadows, protecting the lost queen even when she doesn't remember who she is or who he is. Apollo was known for music and prophecy. Xavier's piano isn't just a romantic detail, it's resonance, a way to awaken the soul. Each note a call across timelines to reach his love. Apollo's gifts, healing, prophecy, but also purification. In Xavier, he lifts the blade alone, a sword that purges the undead, born of Philos' fear. He is distant, controlled, unreachable. But through silence and sorrow, he still shines, contrasting with his deep personal bonds with the MC. As we have seen, Apollo is the god of light, Lumiere in French. Music, poetry, healing, and prophecy, all traits that resonate with Xavier, namely his Lumiere persona as a fighter, but also as a performer and entertainer. In a different way, Apollo's role as a healer and prophet could mirror Xavier's hope to heal the wounds caused by Philos' regime and his vision for a better future. After all, he exchanged the ability to use his power freely in order to achieve that future. And to be honest, I keep returning to that deal he made with Ever. There's something hidden there, something dangerous. I can't wait to see what's revealed further along the story. Apollo's duality as both Lightbringer and Destroyer can bring plague and healing. Echoes Xavier's great sword in his third myth, a sword that devours light, a weapon that can both protect and consume. Apollo, as we said, is the god of prophecy, which resonates with Xavier's time travel and future-altering role. He's a healer and protector of purity, just like Xavier seems to guard the MC even when it means hurting himself. Apollo's association with plagues and purification may also connect to Xavier's underlying role as a cleansing force against corrupt organizations like Ever and even Philos' political system. He really wants to be a beacon of light in our darkest hour. Then there's Icarus, the boy who flew, who defied captivity, who dared to escape with wings made of hope, and who fell. Xavier's bold attempts to change fate and transcend limits recall Icarus' daring flight toward the sun. But who is Icarus? Icarus was the son of Daedalus, the skilled craftsman and creator of the Crete labyrinth. When Theseus arrived in Crete from Athens and killed the Minotaur with the help of Ariadne, he used the claw that Daedalus had given her. After Theseus escaped from the labyrinth, his enemy, Minos, suspected Icarus and Daedalus of revealing the labyrinth's secrets, and therefore imprisoned them. Daedalus was desperate to get out and save himself and his son, so he created an escape plan. He made wings for himself and his son, Icarus. He trained Icarus to fly and concluded that flying up and over the palace would be the best way to flee. However, Daedalus urged his son not to fly too close to the sun, as this would cause the wax to melt. Icarus didn't care about his father's warning and flew too high, causing the beeswax in his wings to melt. Icarus plummeted from the sky, sank into the sea, and drowned. You might be thinking, is this going to end the same way? Trust me, our little star deserves more than missed tragedies, so Xavier left Philos to find a way to save the queen. He made up his mind and bravely traveled across time and space, risking everything to stop the cycle of sacrifice. He reached across timelines. He challenged fate itself, and yet he failed. He returned to shattered dreams to emptiness, and they called him Mad King. Not for madness, but for a heart broken beyond repair, all because he had lost her. Icarus fell from the sky. Xavier fell from love into centuries of isolation, locked in battle between the living and the dead. His sword cuts through corpses, but not through his own grief. His crown weighs nothing compared to regret. Even after the MC returns, even when she remembers nothing, he says nothing. Because like Icarus, he still believes. Xavier believes that love might rise again from the ashes, and somehow it does. As Icarus fell from the heights, so too did Xavier from the heights of status and belief. A royal prince turned rogue, called the Mad King. Like Icarus, Xavier pays a price for his rebellion: exhaustion, isolation, and the risk of falling or failure. And I remind you once again of the red chain around Xavier's neck. That red color is the weight of ambition, a tether to cosmic forces he dared to reach for. A reminder of the consequences of flying too close to forces that he shouldn't have grasped for. So, who is Xavier really? A rebel? A king? A lover? God? A ghost? He's all of them and more. He's the divergence point, the flame that doesn't go out. The Mad King who remembers her when the world forgets. The man who never stopped trying. In the end, Xavier doesn't just protect the light, he waits for it, grieves for it, fights for it, even in silence. He is myth, not carved into stone, but burned into time. Not sung by muses, but whispered through time, remembered only by the one who still believes. Not followed by fate, but challenging it. Xavier once left MC with a message: "You'll be a good queen." And she returned to him because their love isn't bound by time. It creates time. Maybe that's why we can let go of Xavier, because because we all want to be remembered like that, loved like that, found again across timelines, over and over again. And the final video of this series? Let's just say the myth hiding in plain sight might change everything we think we know about him. So if you've loved journeying through the stars with me, like, subscribe, and come back for the final chapter of Echoes of Myth and Cosmos. In the meantime, feel free to check out these videos for more lads galore. This is Princess Farron signing out. Take care and good gaming! Bye-bye!